Hello, I'm Chanel, welcome to Spirited Stardust, and today I'm doing a craft cafe segment and I'm going to start with the things that I made this week. So I made these lemon passion fruit custard pots. Hey sweetheart. Say hi Willow, hi Willow. Oh my darling. I wouldn't recommend them. I'm going to leave the recipe down below. It was meant to be in a short crust pie, but because I injured my arm, I didn't want to knead or do anything too strenuous, so I just made them as custard pots. They were okay, but they just didn't have as much flavour as I was hoping. My daughter liked it, but yeah, try at your own risk. You know what it is like with recipes, you either like it or you don't. Next up, I made a salted toffee top rice pudding. This was interesting. I did enjoy it. I would say that for me, the rice had to cook longer than I think it was like 8 minutes, whatever it said in the recipe, you know, until thickened, because in the oven it didn't soften enough. So I would have cooked my rice on the stovetop a bit longer, obviously with a bit more liquid to compensate. And with the toffee topping, I would recommend doing a thinner layer. The amount of the toffee topping was quite thick, so it was pretty hard to break through, and you had some like, it was like a solid toffee, quite thick. So I think it would suit a thinner cracking personally, so I would do as thick a layer on top with the toffee pudding. It is very sweet, so there's that. And then I made, what else did I make? Oh, I made these amazing, one second, let me get the cookbook. And I'm back, and this is the Intolerance Friendly Kitchen by Georgia McDermott, gluten-free, FODMAP friendly and more. I'll just show you their picture of the cookies that I made, which were, like I said, amazing. Oh, is that them? I should have had this, there we go. So that's their photo. So these were the any flour you like brownie cookies, and seriously amazing. Next time I wouldn't use gluten-free flour because I can tolerate gluten these days, you know, not going ham on it, but I can tolerate smaller amounts. And I think the next time too, I would use a mixture of dark chocolate and milk. Sorry, my cat is climbing my curtains, my brand new curtains. Can't have nice things if you have cats. Because yeah, I've only eaten dark chocolate for 30 years. For 30 years I only ate dark chocolate because I was vegan. So now I would like to have a bit more creaminess and milk chocolate. I do a combo of dark chocolate and milk chocolate is what I'm trying to say. And I actually ended up sprinkling smoked sea salt on top of the cookies, which I think added a really nice extra dimension. They're soft. They've got the crunch obviously of the sea salt. On the inside I don't know how to describe it. It's almost sort of a mousse-like softness. It was just really fudgy, but not fudgy, softer than fudgy, if you can understand what I'm trying to say. But they were absolutely delicious and highly recommend. I can't put the recipe because it's in this cookbook, but if you get this cookbook, yeah, definitely try out those cookies. Now we'll look at the bags I made. My cat, bro. We'll look at the bags I crocheted. I also did a beanie for my partner this time, and I got another handmade mug as a gift from one of my besties. Hello, so let's get on to the yarn portion of this, and the crochet portion, I mean. So I'm going to show you the very first bag. The first bag I ever crocheted. Here it is. So I just followed a online YouTube bag tutorial. I think it was just a combination of single crochet and double crochet. The yarn, I've got the Arcana of Astrology in here because I thought like it would go. The yarn that I've chosen for the first bag that I ever crocheted is Spun Right Round in Careless Whiskers. I do like how the colors worked up. I would have, you know, obviously loved to do it in a different stitch, but this was my first bag that I ever did. And I always thought, should I just unwind it and redo it? But then I'm like, no, it's your first one. It should hold a special place with its, you know, wonkiness, and I didn't know how to do buttonholes. I just looped on a thing. But yeah, that's the first bag I ever crocheted. I'll go on to another spun right round yarn. So this one is Chimes. I'll just zoom in so you can see the little button. This is in Chimes. I did sedge stitch for this one, and I keep my Herb Crafters tarot in here because I thought it suits. So I'm not going to flip through the cards because this is more about the yarn. I'm just showing what's in there. So this is, what was I going to say? Sedge stitch is one that I do enjoy. Like I said, I'm not sure. I'm trying to just keep it to just a few different stitches that I use for bags. I don't know if I'm going to continue with sedge as one of them. I'm thinking at the moment either Suzette or Trinity are going to be my main two. I'm still going to try out a few different stitches as well. There's a few I haven't tried, so I'm going to try them out. That being said, I do end up wanting ones that are easy to do, that don't require a lot of mental effort. Like there's some that require like 4 different variants of stitches, and that's too much. If I have to do different things 4 times, I'm like, no, I'd like to just be able to repeat the same stitch every line. That's the ideal. But anyway, this one is called Yarn by Jane. This is in Sagebush, and I've got my Begin oracle in here. I wanted it to match the colors. I love Arcade Stitch. This is Arcade Stitch. I love it. I think it's beautiful. It's probably not the best for tarot bags because you can see through it and it's got holes, but I do think it's a pretty stitch. In terms of this yarn, I don't like the quality of the yarn that they used. It is way too rough and I'm not a fan, so I will not be using that dye again. Next up, we've got this bag here. I'll just zoom into the button again. I'm a big fan of buttons, bro. I love handmade buttons, especially if they're glass or resin. They just really appeal to me. I keep my Beltane oracle in here. I went with earthy tones for this particular bag. So this is Circus Tonic Pageant DK in Taronga, and I did the good old Suzette stitch. I do like Circus Tonic Pageant. It's pretty dependable yarn. I do like the way it worked up with this, so I'm pretty happy with that one. Next up we have, this is Walk Collection in the color Propolis. I'll just show you the little butterfly. I don't know why my thing's moving. I didn't even realize I bumped it. In here I keep my Gentle Tarot, and in this one, for this one I did Crunch Stitch, which I think is super cute. It's fun to do. It's got a good tightness in the knit, so it's great for decks. That being said, I do worry over time how these little baubles are going to go, if they're going to get really fuzzy and frayed of being, you know, whooshed around in the box with all the other decks. So I don't think I'm going to keep doing crunch. I've done a few more bags, which I'll show you in the next one, but I think I'm going to retire that stitch personally. Then we've got this little dude here. I'm pretty sure this is Suzette stitch again. In here I keep my sparkly Lenormand deck. This is in Fiore DK and the color is called Rhubarb Crumble. I wasn't a fan of it. I find it very drapey as a yarn, so it has a lot of drape, and I'm not a super big fan of the texture. The color's cute. I do like how the color worked out, but yeah, I was like, nah, this one's not for me. So I will not be using Fiore again, even though it was quite cheap, but it's a similar price to Malabrigo, which I love. And then we've got this one. I'm just gonna have to quickly look it up to see what it is. Sorry about that. So yeah, this is good old Malabrigo. I think it's Azul's. In here I keep my, what do I keep in here? My Energy Oracle cards. So those are the cards I keep in this bag. Yeah, I think it's Azul's. Don't quote me on that though. I bought a lot of Malabrigo. And I did Suzette stitch for this one. So yeah, I'm pretty, like, I love I love Malabrigo. It is one of my favorites. So yeah, these are a lot of my old bags that I did not tape. I've still got, like I said, some more from last month that I'll show next time. I thought I might move this to weekly so the videos don't go for too long, depending if I've got enough footage, or I might just have short videos. So then we're moving on to this beautiful mug that my one of my best friends got for me to say thank you, because whenever I don't keep a yarn, I gift it to her. So I gifted her a whole bunch of yarn, and to thank me, she sent me some goodies, and one of which was this beautiful moon phase clay mug, and I'm just a huge fan. I love it, adore it. I love the earthiness of it. So yeah, that's everything that I received. Now I'm going to just put a picture up here of my partner's beanie that I crocheted for them. It's obviously the first time I did something other than a bag, and it was a heavier yarn, I believe. It was Bellissimo, and I think it was the 12 ply. I'll put a picture of the yarn next to the beanie. It took 3 balls of that yarn, so it was quite an expensive beanie. I don't know who like thinks you know, that making it yourself is cheaper. It is not. It is not that way. The yarn is expensive, and the amount of yarn it takes is expensive, and the amount of hours that you put into it. And unless you're amazing at knitting or crocheting, which I'm not, I'm a beginner. Like I said, I've only been doing it for 6 weeks. The quality of my workmanship is not great. It's very amateur. So this beanie was wonky. I'd had to like unravel it twice. This is when I started developing like tendonitis really badly, and I really struggled, but I pushed through the pain to finish it for his birthday. And I think that's when I really did the most damage, and that's why it's taking me so many weeks just to, it's still not healed. I think it's been about 6 weeks now. I'm going 1 more week, and I'm hoping that I don't have to get dry needling, because that just does not sound pleasant. I hate acupuncture. It causes me a lot of pain. I feel like dry needling would be a similar experience, but if I have to do it, I will do it. But yeah, I pushed through, and I ended up just thinking, you know what, I can't make this perfect. For whatever reason, I'm just messing up, and it's going to be a wonky... It's going to be a beanie with character. Let's just say that. It's going to have a lot of character. So I'm just going to play with my spoon while I talk, because I need to play with something. Shine bright, guys, shine bright. So yeah, and then I put the pom-pom on top, and if I tell you how many times I rearranged that pom-pom, because it would look like it was on bang in the middle, flat, but then he'd put it on his head. It's a slouchy beanie as well, and it would just hang to one side, and I just can't stand that. I have, like, you know, some quirks, I guess. It's part of my conditions where I just, yeah, I couldn't have it hanging, so I just did it again and again and again and again until I felt like it was on straight and in the middle when he put it on his head. But look, the yarn was beautiful. The Bellissimo yarn that I used, it's so beautiful and soft, and it was a pleasure to work with. But like I said too, because also that it's actually quite heavy. But yeah, I did enjoy myself. That was the project that took me down. Let's just say, that beanie. So yeah. Would I make more beanies? Yes, definitely. It's on my to-do list. After I've done my deck bags, I want to make some beanies. I think I'd also like to make for my scraps, I was thinking, how am I going to use my scraps? And I'm thinking a giant Technicolor blanket. I might do one of those, just, you know, little granny squares all stitched together. So I think I'll do that. My kids want a little like purse. So pretty much just it's a taro bag, just with handles. I'll make that for them. I've got some tops. I've got cotton yarn that I want to use to make some tops, maybe some cardigans. But it all depends on how I do once I've healed my tendonitis, like how much crocheting can I do without it causing injury again. It's going to be a very slow build up. I think they said start with like 15-20 minutes a day, and then each week increase that by 5 minutes. But obviously stop and rest if it's hurting again, and there's exercises I have to do to strengthen. It's just so bizarre, isn't it? I used to lift weights before I got injured, so I would lift like 8-kilo dumbbells and do bicep curls and all that sort of thing. So I thought, you know, strong muscles, but that that twisting movement. Like I don't normally do that in anything, I guess. And I just, you know, I guess 6 weeks of twisting a couple hours a day, my body was like, no, we do not like, we are going to just turn up the inflammation and make you stop. But look, I hope that I can crochet without injuring myself. It's, you know, time will tell, because I've got a lot of yarn to get through. So, but we'll see how it goes. My cousin makes these beautiful, I'm going to put an image up now, these beautiful animals. I think they've got a name, it starts with a K. I'm going to write the name up. I can't remember. I think it's a Japanese name or Korean or something. And yeah, they're gorgeous. My children don't know that, you know, you can do that with crochet. Otherwise, I'm sure they'll request that from me. But I think, yeah, what she's doing is gorgeous. She started crocheting same time as me. She has not injured herself. Lucky duck. But yeah, I've got a lot of hopefully some projects in the future. I do know how to knit too. I was thinking of perhaps knitting cardigans. I don't know if anyone has an opinion on that. Which one works up better, either crocheted cardigans or knitted cardies? Do let me know what you think, which one uses more or less yarn, which one's easier on the hands. I'm open to all advice because I am a noob. But yeah, that's everything for Craft Cafe today. I hope you're having a wicked morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. And as always, stay wild, Star Child.